DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. By integrating the comprehensive animal health product portfolio of Merck Animal Health with the innovative technologies of All-Flex Livestock Intelligence, we are shaping the future of animal health, resulting in more effective solutions and healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. Thanks for joining us today. It's going to be a great show. Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz is going to join us. We're going to talk about designs to get the cattle from the staging pens to the chute. We have a world's expert with us. Stay tuned.
Bovolus Nasalgen 3 offers young calves unrivaled protection against devastating respiratory diseases, including IBR, PI3, and BRSV. And it has a unique blue shadow, so there's no second guessing which animals have been vaccinated. To up your protection, choose Bovolus Nasalgen 3 PMH, the first and only intranasal that protects against viral and bacterial pneumonia. Talk to your veterinarian and visit nasalgen.com to learn more.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. Look who I got here, my friend and my colleague and business partner, Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz. He is one of the most tremendous veterinarians that I get the honor to go to work with every day. And his passion for people, for safety, for cattle handling, for facilities. We're going to be embarking on a monthly series with Dr. Kip, just bringing you information. And you kick-started it last month and it was just great. And so now we're going to move to getting down to some actual
in the details.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Let's talk about getting staging cattle out of the staging pen.
2 years ago, I was in a pretty severe accident, and so it's really made me think more about safety of people, and not that I didn't think about that before. It's always been in our mind, but today I think we have to think more about that, as far as just the experience level that's back there and so forth. And so sometimes hardest thing is from the staging pen to the barn and getting them where we need them to be. And it can be the most difficult. And so today when we look at facilities, we literally look at, again, cattle flow means everything, but positioning of our people means everything in terms of the communication with the cattle in which we're working with. And so getting people staged on the correct side. And so that's where we've actually put now today when I design, we actually design so we have safety walk alleys with little safety walkthroughs so that they don't have to open gates and things like that. They can just get in easy or get out easy and be safe, and work on the correct side of the cattle so that we get them there.
And I know that you talk about working on the correct side of the cattle. If I want those cattle to come out and take a left-hand turn, which side is the most appropriate to go up? The side that I want them to turn on, right?
Correct. Yes, left side. So cattle are the behavior of cattle is they will always encircle their predator, or those that sometimes that they don't trust. And so if you think about that, if you need them to make that turn to the left, being on the right side of an animal, you're actually talking two different language. You're confusing the animal because that animal's sitting there, you're on the right side and you're asking him to turn left. That takes a lot of confidence for that animal to actually go, okay, I can turn away from this handler and have confidence he's not going to bite me or hurt me or things like that, right? They don't know that we're not coyotes or mountain lions or stuff like that. So they view you all as the same. And so giving them the confidence so that the animal, not only for the handler's side of things, when you place yourself on the inside, I always say just place yourself on the inside corner in which you want them to turn or flex. And then as they do, when they do that, the beautiful thing is that their ear will flex back and they still have you in their eye. When you're on the opposite side, they lose you. And so they lose your guidance.
And if you push them against the fence, they're most likely to catch their shoulder,
rib, hip bone, stifle. Cattle don't just tear ACLs, right? We create ACL tears sometimes. And so just thinking and bruising and all those things. So just thinking about how we place ourselves is really important.
Cool. Well, we're going to take a break. We've got the cattle out of the staging pen. We'll get them into a crowding facility to get them into a single file here when we return after these messages.
Stressors that trigger bovine respiratory disease are all around. So when you spot BRD in your herd, Turn to Zuprevo, the fast that lasts. Zuprevo is rapidly absorbed in as little as 45 minutes and lasts up to 28 days. Because in the race against BRD, you need to win. Ready, set, Zuprevo. In case of human injection, seek immediate medical advice. For use in beef and non-lactating dairy cattle only. For prescribing information, talk to your veterinarian or visit Zuprevo.com.
DNA Dialogue is brought to you by Igenity Beef, powered by Neogen.
Beef producers are subject to a lot of risk and volatility in their operations. When we think about the longevity of an operation and the profitability of a modern beef operation, it's largely dependent on the productive life and the economic drivers behind the cow. Oftentimes, a genetic condition or a genetic mutation corresponds to an undesirable phenotype or a calf with a negative economic value. That calf is not as profitable or has some sort of characteristic that is discounted amongst the rest of the animals in that calf crop. Genomic testing allows the cattle producer to determine whether that undesirable phenotype is caused by an environmental or managerial condition, or if it's controlled by certain genes or certain variants. When a producer tests their bull battery for genetic mutations, it allows them to manage problems before they even exist.
One of the most core principles in the beef business is reducing risk. We have eliminated and reduced the risk of animals not performing up to our expectations through the use of EPDs, through the use of genomic testing. I've gravitated toward the Angus GS, using it. You've got all the right people in the room when you've got Neogen and AGI working together. That's what puts my confidence in the Angus GS test. Cattle producers have always been sustainable. We have no choice but to be sustainable. But however, this is another tool to identify the most efficient animals, which take less inputs, less resources, and produce more beef with less inputs, less resources than ever before. And I think the evolution of genomic testing is vital to the cattle business.
Angus GS, powered by Neogen, is the highest industry standard in genomic testing for your whole herd. Contact the American Angus Association or your Neogen territory manager to test today.
When the ones who have your heart need your help, count on us for everything they deserve, delivered fast. We'll work hard for you so you can work hard for your dreams.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz. And Dr. Lukasiewicz is a world expert in cattle handling, animal welfare, and cattle facility design. But as you've matured in this process, now we're starting to put in the human safety aspects and really when we start to think about, we got those cattle out of that staging facility, now getting them into a crowding facility to transition from an alley to a single file.
Correct.
We have some different tools, right?
Yeah. So for years, I mean, we've always seen tubs and the design of tubs, and you know, they were kind of built to kind of like put animals in there and then kind of just guide them around and so forth. But we've rethunk how we've done tubs today. And so for years there, when I first started designing, I was doing bud boxes, which was basically just taking cattle past the point of where you want them to go, so that they return where they came from and they voluntarily feed into the alley in which you're asking them to go to. But now we've done the same with the tub. Where we have, I call it like a little reverse D tub, and you know, and I just give you pictures and videos of that, and then how that almost works similarly to a bud box. The flip side of this is you don't have to be in the box when you're handling them, and so we can actually get the handler on the outside and keep them safe. And it does purely take advantage of their voluntary flow. It's really awesome how we're designing those today.
And I've seen your designs, and I've actually got to see them in action. The safety aspect, the cattle flow aspect, and then the decrease in the number of people required to move cattle is significant when we use those tub,
the reverse tubs.
The reverse tubs, and you're bringing cattle. I mean, if it's not a reverse tub, you're just bringing them in at a different angle.
Correct.
And if it is a reverse tub, you're bringing them in, they go around, they come right back, and they.
Yeah, and very seldom you don't even have to. The only gate you have to swing is the one that you close to the tub, and the cattle literally will voluntarily come around and feed the alley.
Isn't it important too that you don't bring too many cattle?
It's a very good point.
Because you want to be able to safely shut that gate.
Yeah, so these are not storage devices. These are simply guiding devices. And we typically, when we're doing those things, we are not putting more cattle in there than what will fit in that alley or that snake alley at one time prior to going into the chute. And so that's really important. Like, we don't want to stuff cattle in because we want to maintain the energy of those animals. So the energy in which we bring them in, the walking pace and so forth, we want to keep that, and we want to keep that in flow as they feed into that.
It's kind of like keeping your horse at a trot. You don't want to break it up, walk and trot, and that. So important aspects to tubs or bud boxes.
Yeah, keep them open so that keep them at least open down to where the handler does not have to get above. Catwalks today.
And when you mean open, you mean open sides.
Open sides,
so that people can communicate with the cattle without getting inside.
So that you don't lose communication, and then that cattle can still see you. You should not have to get up and above cattle, because that's contradictive, and it's counterproductive to their behavior. And when an animal raises their head, their front feet typically will stop. And so, or it's really hard for them to keep that in motion. So you want to give the animal confidence, as well as just give our handlers confidence in what they're doing and be successful.
What about flooring in these?
So important. Today, we used to groove a lot of floors, but today we actually just, we put rubber, like an Animat. There's other companies today that make a rubber textured mat that's very durable. We put that just prior to coming into the tub or the box. We line the whole tub and box with it, and we line the snake alley going to the chute, and we line the floor exiting the chute with these mats. And that's super important for feet.
Perfect. We're going to take a break. We've been here with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz. You're watching DocTalk, and we're sure glad that you joined us.
Success in the cattle business hinges on a lot of different people playing their part, from the vet to the cowboy and the nutritionist to the feed truck driver. You rely on them to get their job done right, and so do your cattle. Your expectations for the vaccines you use should be no different. Bimeda's cattle vaccines were developed and are made and sold by men and women in the cattle business. No smoke and mirrors, just real-world protection that you can rely on. Go to BimedaBiologicals.com to learn more.
When a new calf hits the ground, the clock starts ticking. A belly full of colostrum gives them their best chance, but if they don't get any, time starts running out. That's when you grab a bag of Oxford Ag Colostrum in their patented feeding system. It's simple. You fill it with warm water, shake it to mix, feed it with a tube or a nipple, and you are done. No bucket, no bottle, no mess, and right on time. Ask for it by name wherever animal health supplies are sold.
Angus GS powered by Neogen is the highest industry standard in genomic testing for your whole herd. Contact the American Angus Association to test today.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and I'm here with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz, and we're talking moving cattle from the staging pens to the chute. Dr. Lukasiewicz is a veterinarian and a partner of mine in production animal consultation. We consult feed yards all across the United States, around the world, and Dr. Lukasiewicz has literally made designs in feed yards from Australia to all across the United States, packing plants. He is the world's expert in cattle handling and facilities, and we're so thankful we get to go to work with him every day. Let's get those cattle. How are we going to get the cattle from the bud box to what are some of the important things in that single file?
So again, there's single file, there's double file alleys. People ask all the time, is what's important. Should I have a double file or should I have a single file? I always say keep it as simple as possible. So single file to me, that's adjustable hydraulically or manually. The sides, I think, are really important. where you have kind of like what I call like V-shaped alleys, I'm not a big fan of those, because we're actually asking the animal to bring his feet in, or his or her feet in, and that's stressful to an animal that's under a little bit of stress. They like to have a wider base, and so you don't want to take their walking strength away from them or their comfort. And then keeping the alley straight to the chute. You know, I don't need a lot of curves or serpentine type things. Cattle like to go straight, and so it's just important that we make it that way.
They also like to see where they're going, and the light going to, you know, hey, if I see light, I'm getting out of here.
Yes, an exit.
Yeah.
And they love to see what's pressuring, and people forget about that. You know, so seeing that handler, seeing the guidance. Some people say, well, but then we can't be as up close to the cattle, you know, at all times. Sometimes you don't have to be close. Sometimes you don't even have to be present. You know, if you have the motion in motion, it stays in motion. It goes back in physics. They taught us about stuff like that. So
I think one of the things that you taught me that I've used in every feed yard since is we have those tall, the single files are all the way to the, you know, covered all the way to the top. Mm-hmm. And the cattle can't see you, and you can't see the cattle, and you got to get up on a catwalk and look over the top. Mm-hmm. And every one of my, as soon as I walk in there, I'm like, okay, we're going to take 2 foot of, or 3 foot of boards off so those cattle can see us, and we don't have to climb up and down anymore.
Yeah, 100%. And the cattle love it. Like, they can see you. You only have to make sometimes 1 step towards them, and they move, they go forward, right? And it just makes everything so much slicker and easier. You know, and then even like when we go from that single alley to into the chute, just having the zero transition, you know, so they don't have to make a step. People forget that, you know, they have poor depth perception. Cattle have poor depth perception. Some people have poor depth perception, but you know, when they have that, don't make that a hindrance. Help them. Just if you're building a new facility, recess the chute. Or make a ramp.
Yep.
You know?
What about no backs?
No backs, I think, are important, but having too many no backs, I think, are sometimes unnecessary. Like, we really need 1 no back to stage that next animal behind the chute, and we need a no back towards the back somewhere, you know, so that all the cattle don't back up and exit, and that we have in the alley. And so, you know, in the U.S., you see a lot of no backs that are overhead. That's how most of our alleys are, but we don't deal with any like Brahma type cattle or cattle with humps on them, and we have to remember that those withers and those humps are really sensitive. And so if we are dealing with cattle like that, we might transition to more of a side no back that's spring loaded that can get out of the way. And so people forget about some of those things. They don't recognize it, or they just don't know. And so that's what these type of shows are for, is to educate people, and hopefully those that watch take a little bit something from it.
I do already. This is Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz. You're watching DocTalk. We're going to take a break.
When it comes to treating BRD, you want a product that you can count on to get the job done at an affordable price. Macrocin by Bimeda delivers on both. A straight shooting, no BS tulathromycin that does what it's supposed to do. End of story. You don't need to take our word for it though. Go to macrocin.com for customer testimonials and head-to-head trial results. For your cattle and your bottom line, choose Macrocin.
The Alertus on-farm pregnancy test for us has been unbelievable time saver, because we can do it whenever we want. My favorite part about Alertus on farm, we can get results fast. You know, in 20 minutes, you know whether that cow goes to pasture A, B, or C. It's just very efficient. It's going to make you a lot of money. You're not going to have open cows standing there all winter looking at you, and you can do it on your time.
When you spot BRD in your cattle, that's your golden opportunity to target infection and its associated fever with a single dose of Resflor Gold, the industry standard dual therapy. To learn more, talk to your Merck Animal Health rep or your vet and see label at resflorgold.com. Animals intended for human consumption must not be slaughtered within 38 days of treatment. This product is not approved for use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, including dry dairy cows.
When the ones who have your heart need your help, count on us for everything they deserve, delivered fast. We'll work hard for you so you can work hard for your dreams.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz, and we're veterinarians and we're owners and partners in production animal consultation. We consult about 25 to 30% of the fed cattle in the U.S., and Dr. Kip has designs and facilities from coast to coast, overseas, packing plants, cow-calf, feedlot facilities, you name it. This guy is a bona fide expert. Let's talk about transitioning from the single file into the chute and then out of the chute.
Okay, so today what I see, again, there was a study done several years ago about just exit speed and jumping and stuff like that, and so I took that into consideration in what I designed today, and some of the things I looked at was if everything was level, do cattle jump? And taking into consideration that they have that poor depth perception. And, when you don't know that that step coming out is 4 inches or 12 inches or 2 feet, you get fearful. And people do the same thing, right? There's people with poor depth perception, and they're like measuring, what do I need to do to get out of this?
That's the reason why the yellow strip on the step.
Yes. And so for cattle, what we found is just make that easy. Don't make it a step, right? Just recess the chute, make it all level. Or if your chute is already above grade, then try to figure out a way to, like in the front, maybe we lay like 2 layers of rubber matting or something to make it level as the cattle come out. And in the back, we make a very shallow transition ramp coming up into the chute. There's ways to get around it, that you don't have to change everything or cut concrete or things like that. But if you have the opportunity just to recess it in the beginning, recess it. Don't waste your time.
Yeah. What about louvers on the sides and kind of making yourself a little bit less noticeable?
Louvers are okay. But again, I work in facilities today where we're always preaching about open eyes and keep the eyesight of the cattle. So for me today, I actually remove some of the louvers sometimes just so that if they're a hindrance to me and I need the cattle to see me better to enter the chute or exit the chute,
Well, and they can be that way too. It's hard to catch them sometimes if
Absolutely.
you can't see them. Yeah, you can't see you can't see them.
Yeah, it creates more missed catches and stuff like that. So, the old theory of we got to take that eyesight away. We promote the opposite, right? I mean, it's not that we want to be a hindrance, but we just have to know how to handle, and that comes with training. There's a great clip or meme out there today that says don't expect 100% of productivity from your employees if you're only providing 1% training, and so I think it is important to train people at the chute and train to the behavior of the cattle and just simple things. Just let people know that you don't have to completely understand all the behavior aspects that I know or that I've been taught and that I've learned, but just to give you tools to help you and just simple things that can really help you and aid in the movement of those cattle and make it easier.
Yeah, well, and you not only design facilities, but you're spending time on the ground training people. You do webinars, you're doing short courses, all kinds of things. And so if you get an opportunity to go to one of this guy's talks or one of his webinars or get to be on the ground on one of his trainings or have him come to your place and train and design, phenomenal experience. And we do it all the time. So we rob time from him. He doesn't have much time, but we're very thankful.
This is always a pleasure. Yeah, I love it.
Appreciate what you do. Thanks for watching DocTalk. Remember, if you want to know what we do, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Always work with your local veterinarian. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz, and we'll see you down the road.
DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. By integrating the comprehensive animal health product portfolio of Merck Animal Health With the innovative technologies of All-Flex Livestock Intelligence, we are shaping the future of animal health, resulting in more effective solutions and healthier animals.
When the ones who have your heart need your help, count on us for everything they deserve, delivered fast. We'll work hard for you so you can work hard for your dreams.
I'm Dr. Les Anderson. I'm a beef extension specialist at the University of Kentucky. The Alertus on-farm test has the opportunity to completely change the industry. A producer is enabled and empowered to be able to take the sample and run the test or tests at their leisure without scheduling anybody. And honestly, reproduction is the thing that we measure the least, and it's the thing that dictates profitability the most. The Alertus on-farm test will help us to identify cows that get pregnant early. It'll improve our efficiency tenfold.